Why did your department decide to move to an oral fluid drug tester?
I can't really say for certain what was their guiding light for making that decision. I know up until that time, my agency had been using the preliminary breath tests for alcohol. And when the officers started using those, that was again another game changer. It was the most reliable preliminary breath test we had ever used. I mean, it would capture a puff of breath from a subject that was perhaps being evasive when they were submitting to the test. You could manually activate that device and get a sample that was very reliable when measured against like an evidentiary breath test that occurred later on up at the jail. So I think just the brand, Draeger, we had a high opinion of them, and then when we saw the availability of an oral fluid test that tested at the time for 6 different types of drugs, we thought, let's give it a shot. That sounds interesting. If it's made by Draeger, it's likely going to perform very well.
And has it been a reliable device for you?
Oh yes, it's been, like I said, it's been a real game changer. We've participated in some studies with Draeger that were correlative studies to show one's oral fluid sample taken, tested by the Draeger drug machine, a secondary sample was captured and then sent to NMS labs in Pennsylvania, and then the arrested subject was eventually taken to the jail and submitted to an evidentiary test of their blood or urine. And then now you have 3 pieces of data to look at, and all of them married together perfectly just to show the reliability of this machine is profound.
Is it easy to use for on-the-spot drug detection?
Well, and that's a wonderful question. It is, there's a term officers will be familiar with. It is cop-proof.
Cop-proof?
Yes. It's simplistically elegant. I mean, the face of the device has but 3 buttons up by the monitor. 3, an arrow up, an arrow down, and a power on button. You can't get much more simpler than that. It's very similar to that of the preliminary breath testing devices. Ease of use is tremendous. So the initial training was just being familiar with the equipment, demonstrating it, giving officers just a basic understanding of how it works inside the machine. Many of them might not even care. To them it's just, Jack showed up with magic beanstalk beans. But it was just the stuff that goes on inside the machine. If they choose not to worry about that, that's fine. But all they have to know is just how to collect a sample. Somebody holds the device inside their mouth, collects an oral fluid sample for about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. They put it into the machine and turn it on, and it does the rest. The only thing the officer has to do, there's a keyboard attached to it, a little computer keyboard, all very compact, very mobile, fits very easily in the side of many different police cars. And the officer supplies information, valuable information like the suspect's name, birthday, things of that information, a case number if that's desired. And the machine does the rest. It analyzes the sample. It knows what to do. The officer has really very little involvement in the testing process.
So the officer just follows the list of things that are needed that come up, like where it was, where the testing occurred and the date and all of that, and everything is recorded.
Yes, and I should tell you there are prompts in the display window. It'll tell you, put the cassette in, put the next piece in, now close the door. And so once you close the door, you're done with the machine. The machine's going to do the rest. Partway through the test, it will ask you to supply the information, but you just look what it's asking you for and you enter that information on the keyboard. The ease of use is profound.
I understand that the drug test has a little printer that comes along with it. When would you use that printer?
Yes, and in the field, you can print it out right there. Again, the printer is very small. It's wireless. It connects to the DT5000 through an infrared light, so it just shoots the information across and it prints out the little receipt paper with all the information that you supplied plus the test results on that receipt paper. Now, if you don't wish to print that out right away, you can wait until you get back to the station, print it out, tape it onto a sheet of paper, and submit that sheet of paper. If your agency hasn't gone paperless, you can attach that receipt to a sheet of paper and submit it as part of your arrest packet. A neat feature about the machine, though, also is that it does store up to 500 tests electronically inside of it. So all that information you entered in there is going to be saved. and then later on you can plug in a USB cable back at your office, or your coordinator, if you designate somebody as such, can download and maintain all of that information so it's available at any time.
So Sergeant Bowers, what would you say to a police department that is thinking about buying the Dräger DrugTest 5000?
I think they should understand that what they're doing is providing their officers with yet another tool that they can use to help be the most successful, productive member of their department. They're giving them a real game changer. They're giving them a piece of technology that is proven reliable. The brand itself is proven reliable, and they're giving an officer a piece of confidence. They're giving that officer an immediate answer to their inquisitive mind, and they're helping build in them at least the correct arrest decisions to be made. They're helping that officer reach that correct arrest decision, and it is a valuable piece of equipment for any police force.